Over the next 2 minutes, I want to make you think about and reflect on what might be competing for your students' attention while you're teaching at the front of the classroom. So what do I mean by this? Well, if I give you a real life example and say that when we go to the cinema or the theatre or something like that, I don't think anybody would expect that when you're looking at the stage or the screen, that there would be lots of posters or other things around the outside of the screen. You would want to be directing your focus right at what you're looking at, and everything else would be clutter-free. There wouldn't be anything around that. However, that's sometimes different in our classrooms, and lots of classrooms that I walk around in lots of different schools, not just ours, have lots of posters and lots of great things all around the front. And actually, while you're trying to teach or while you're trying to get your students to be directing their attention to your whiteboard and to the things that you're presenting them, their eyes can be wandering all over the place because there's lots of great colourful images all around the front of the room as well. Now, you wouldn't expect that if we were going to a cinema or a theatre, but sometimes we think we need to decorate our classroom walls with all this amazing stuff. What I would ask you to reflect on and do is to wander your classroom, and I've said this before when we've talked about kind of where the cheap seats are, but actually to have a look at what's their experience and what might be competing for their attention while you are allegedly stood at the front or while they're looking at the whiteboard. And you might want to then start thinking about keeping your front wall, your teacher wall as I would call it, a lot more clutter-free, and start to maybe move some of those posters or displays to the side, because it's absolutely fine to have them at the side as an aide-memoire for students, but you might not want it competing for their attention while you're speaking, because let's face it, any little distractions or a bit of daydream and wandering and mental truancy, oh, what's that in there? And they're supposed to be looking at the board or you, and their eyes are wandering everywhere. So you might want to think about putting things to the side and having it a bit clutter-free. That also goes for your desk as well. Think about what the experiences of the students looking at the front of the classroom. Does it look very cluttered? Do you want to kind of move things out of the way? Do you want to keep your desk, if you can, clutter-free? So actually you are completely directing your attention. And we know as well, feeling like you're in a clutter-free environment allows your mind to be a little less cluttered with your thinking, and you can be clearer thinking and directing your thoughts directly at what we need to be looking at rather than everything else going on. So certainly reflect on, wander around your classroom, what's the experience of students, what might be competing for their attention. That's without thinking about the classroom door and any of the noise that's happening. This is just where their eyes are directed at. And start thinking about whether you want to move some of those things to the side walls.